Yeah, he said you were diabolical in your gift giving because every time I use my kettle, which is multiple times a day, I'll think of you.
It's true.
So,
Do you know, like, I still think of, like, I still have some things we got from our wedding, which was 22 years ago, and I pick them up and I'm like, oh yeah, remember that guy that I haven't seen in 21 years?
oh, you think about the person who gave it to you?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, I thought you get so much stuff and you just don't even really remember who gives you what.
No, I totally remember. Totally remember.
You were young when you got married, so you, like,
I was.
you all
Those things
legitimately
mattered.
needed things.
Yeah. Every time I use my KitchenAid, I think of you, Buffy, my sister, who probably couldn't have afforded that KitchenAid at the time, but bought it for me anyway. Love you. Welcome to Supercharged by AI, a podcast by AI Portland. I am Megan Notarte, partner at Cloud4 and co-founder of AI Portland.
I am Nicole Moores, product design leader at Lithia Motors.
And co-founder of AI Portland.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm also that. I thought that was implied.
I mean, maybe. Also, are we saying it's your birthday today?
It is indeed early on my birthday.
It's early. I mean, I refrained from texting you until 5 a.m.
I was surprised.
No.
I'm surprised it wasn't like 12:01.
I was asleep. I was asleep after a very exciting day yesterday for all sorts of reasons, not the least of which was AI Portland, which was amazing. We will talk about that. But otherwise, I would have done it at 12:01. But I waited 4:59. I was like, not now, Megan. Inappropriate.
Yeah, I thought I really want to like change my intro to be like mom of four, you know? And I hope that makes it like the robots put that on the internet so when you search me, it's like, she has 4 kids? 4? You know what I mean? So that it goes on the internet that I have 4 kids, because I don't really, but I do.
I have 4 kids. Okay. I was like, is this breaking news? Are you counting Gary and Cha-Cha as 2 of your kids?
Yes.
Birthday on release day and mom of 4. Is that what's going on here? Yes. We haven't put a podcast episode out in quite some time. But that doesn't mean that things haven't been happening.
Yeah,
I
lots
feel
of
like our
things
last
have
episode
happened.
was it June?
Was it really that far away?
Like it was a long time ago. Yeah, lots has happened. Where do you want to
so
start?
Much. We were gonna start with our event with David Long of the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh man,
when did we meet him?
I mean, months and months ago. It was earlier this year. And you and I were so stoked because when we just talked to him, first of all, he is a super cool guy, super smart guy. But the stuff that he was talking to us about that he's doing with his organization, we were like, yes, this is the kind of thing we want to hear about. Because as we all know, so much hype, so much hand waving, whatever happening out in the world. And you and I are like really, really interested in how things are actually moving through real organizations with real people and existing workflow and existing
real
infrastructure.
Yeah,
real
not inventing problems for AI to solve, but like solving real problems. And so he has those and sort of like he's VP of Innovation for the Portland Trailblazers, and he sort of started this AI initiative to solve problems around his organization. And he did it in really interesting ways.
And he was, so this was our October event, it was supposed to be in September, pushed to October, and like it was well worth waiting for. I liked how he talked about, it was about AI, right? But it was really about innovation, right? It was about like finding opportunities for innovation on your teams. And getting them to think with like an innovation mindset instead of just like, how do we tack AI on to a existing workflow, or how do we make sure everybody's writing prompts or whatever? It was like, where are the points of innovation?
Right. And he said he even solved some of the problems like without AI. Like the secret sauce was uncovering those pain points, having people talk about just the work they do and where those pressure points are. And then sometimes the solutions weren't AI, but where they were, you know, he was able to implement solutions that made people's work lives a little less onerous.
Yeah, he talked about the I'm gonna say it wrong. The Einstellung effect. Did I say it right?
I think you nailed it.
I mean, who's gonna fact check us?
We
Nobody. Are. I am. Nicole will. But it was talking about like the common workflow trap of like having a familiar problem, getting anxious about it, applying the same solution, getting the same results, and you sort of have this habit form, and that can create blinders where you don't even see opportunities, or you don't even notice that like a process is particularly inefficient because it's like, well, this is how it works and this is how I do it, which I think we all see all the time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, at work all the time, you don't even realize it's painful. You're like, this is just the way we've always done it. And you continue, and it's inefficient, and you never stop to be like, hey, could this be better? And a lot of times it just can be.
Yeah, you have to really stop to think about it. It's like it's a muscle you have to work to think about how to make things better like that. I think he said that they created a custom GPT that just helps employees like think about things and try to break out of that pattern and that habit. I've thought a lot about his idea about surfacing opportunities on different teams, where he talked about having meetings that the sole purpose was to like talk about things that suck in people's jobs.
What sucks about your job?
What sucks about your job? You have to come with, I mean, they were looking for 20 or 40 different ideas. And don't sweat the tech. Like, you're not allowed to come and say, well, it would be really cool if a system did this, but it can't do that right now.
It's impossible. Like, it's impossible. If you just take that part out, it allows you to just be more open and creative and think about, the issues, not the solutions.
Yeah. That I find I've actually, like, thank you, David Long, that has made its way into my messy middle talk because I think it I think that like we've been saying, there are so many places where there are possibilities to do something new and innovative, but like we have to be able to think about it, and sometimes just thinking about the things we don't like doing in our job can actually help us surface those opportunities.
Yeah, he does have a developer though. I will say that he is working with an engineer to help him build out these things, but some of them are as simple as just a custom GPT.
Yeah, I mean, he said, like, when we were asking about does every solution always have AI, and like you said, it doesn't. And he says, like, sometimes that's great, and sometimes it's like a zap. Like, oh, what you need is just an automation.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Everybody's happy though because you have a more efficient workflow. Like, who cares? Like, what if it's using AI or not? I kind of liked that. Because the tech is changing so quickly, and we are in that middle where we don't really know, and so I think we can't be too like attached to particular outcomes or particular ways of doing things.
Totally. We had really good questions on that night from the audience, and one that I thought was really good is someone asked, like, where are the areas of the Portland Trailblazers where you're not going to use AI? I think that's just as important of a question as like where we are going to use it. And he said customer experience, like when folks are showing up for games and stuff like that, they're just not going to use AI. And I think the other one was they're not using it for creative either. There's still that, like, I think, hesitation to use generated AI creative in their marketing. And like I think a lot of companies have that. There's like a bad look about it almost.
I think that's fair, right? I think what my takeaway was, it was like human review is so incredibly important to them, and the way that they're doing this is like strong human in the loop. Like, they're not just like all in on AI. We're you walk
no matter
in
what
Moda Center and like AI everywhere. In fact, like somebody asked, like, I'm going to a game,
where am I going to see it?
Where am I going to see it? He's like, you're probably not.
Yeah.
And it's that, dude, that kind of like approach and that sort of real talk is like, oh my gosh, please.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We just need to know practically like what people are doing, how they're thinking about it, how it's showing up for them, and like spread that word instead of AI is my personality.
Right? It is my whole personality. I hope not. I hope not. I really enjoyed that night. It was, we had a very busy summer, like going into summer, and you and I, like, were like, okay, we need a breather. We had our party in August, and so it was our first time kind of coming back together as a group and like learning again. And it was like everything I wanted / needed it to be.
I know David should come on this podcast. We gotta get him on.
He said he would.
So maybe more to come.
Maybe
more to come.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
I still have more questions, which is always a good sign.
And totally, like, you get the benchmark, right? It'd be good to check in with him a little bit down the road and see if anything's changed.
Yeah.
Are the hopes and dreams being fulfilled?
Yeah. Okay, so that was October. We are here on this morning because we had an event last night too. What a wild journey that was as well. Getting to the event.
Yeah.
It was a journey. Go ahead.
So we partnered with Radek. You pronounce his last name. I don't want to
Tomaszek.
Radek Tomaszek of Keboola. He's a local friend of ours at AI Portland, and he helped us put together an event all about MCP. So sort of a real sort of tactical approach to what MCP is and like maybe how you could use it tangibly.
Yeah, so we try to do a more technically focused event like periodically. And I don't know that we had done one this year yet. This was our foray, and there are groups in town who are doing like all technical stuff. Shout out to
wonder
Sam's
though,
group.
because it feels like people are very thirsty for technical events on how do I do this. There were a lot of developers in the audience, but there were a lot of people who I would describe as not a developer in the audience as well, hanging on every word, taking notes,
Yeah, like back up. I need
explain this to me more. What about that? There's just thirst.
Yeah, so we had we were sponsored by Appify, and our friends from Appify unfortunately had like family members that got sick, so they were not able to come, and they were going to do an intro talk with some practical demos. Since they weren't able to come, Radek, superhero, stepped in. Used some of Appify's slides. I mean, it was
great. Radek's a delightful human being, just the nicest.
He is.
A while back, was that this year? We're like, Radek, every agents are everywhere. Like, what is going on? Can you just explain to us like what an agent actually is? And he took time out of his life to meet with Megan and I and talk all about agents.
Yeah,
he's so nice.
He essentially gave us the like MCP 101 too. Like
I know. Well, that's when it was like super new. And that's what's wild about this stuff. Like Radek started at his job at the beginning of the year in January, and he hadn't touched MCP at all. Like this stuff is
It was like November of last year when it first came out. It was I was grateful that they took the time to sort of explain the history, because sometimes I feel like we live in a world where we're like, oh, it's always been around. How do I not know this?
Yeah,
and like, you don't know it.
MCP is like, duh. And you're like, duh. It's so hard to keep up to date. Yeah. Maybe we should explain what MCP is for your mom and dad who are going to be listening to this.
You were, hi mom, hi dad. You took better notes.
So MCP, and definitely correct me if I'm like totally murdering this. So you have the LLM, right? And you have all these individual tools that you may be using. I feel like am I like a narcissist? Because I was like, they put in Figma for me, you know?
I mean, I will let you think that, but also Figma had like massive AI releases in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's both, Nicole.
Figma is a design tool, right? And there's all these APIs with all these tools like Notion, Figma, Jira for our tickets, all these individual tools. And MCP is like the standard API to be able to use to connect the LLMs and all these individual tools.
Yeah, it's like a protocol
Yes.
that makes it easier to make those connections. It started out as like an Anthropic only thing, and now is more broadly adopted. It's a standard. We have a standard.
A standard is nice.
Standard is nice.
Similar to HTTP, which is the protocol for the internet. So when all the machines were just individual research machines and they didn't have a way to connect, HTTP was developed to let, essentially the internet connect all the research machines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I think so. I mean, we'll fact check us
Megan will
later.
Megan will get the facts.
Will I? So Radek started with like the 101, like what are we talking about? And then our friends from DevSwarm. So we had Mike and Trevor, CEO and CTO of DevSwarm, and they presented definitely a more like hands-on, here is how you would use MCP to do a bunch of different things. So they showed how you might take a like a Confluence document that is like a specification and has a bunch of user stories or whatever, and then use MCP to automatically create Jira tickets from those user stories. So like a project manager doesn't have to like go through and handcraft Jira tickets. Nobody handcrafts Jira tickets.
They don't. There was a lot of talk about sort of the quality that gets put into those things, that they have to be reviewed by a human, because sometimes AI will just make things that don't make sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So like with great power comes great responsibility. Megan and I always talk a lot about human in the loop, but in this world, it becomes more and more important. And it's because like you have a coworker, you trust them, they're smart. Like you are going to review their work, but also you're just like, Joe's got it.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
fine.
Joe's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't do that with when you're using AI in these ways. And especially if you're doing things automatically or letting it work autonomously, you have to build in those checks and balances.
And at scale, right? Like it can do things so much faster. But it did strike me. You get more
and more.
Yeah. It did strike me that it's sort of the same concerns that come up no matter what slice of the world we're looking at with our AI lens, right?
Totally.
So in this case, we're looking at developers, and a lot of the same things came up. Like, how do we make sure that I'm not creating slop for my coworkers? Mm-hmm. Right? It's the same thing we talk about when we're generating marketing content, or, I'm making a presentation because I used AI to help me do it. Like,
totally.
How do we make sure that we're still doing quality work? And it always makes my heart happy when what it comes down to are good engineering fundamentals, right?
It's just like, the same, like when the answer is like, it's the same thing you do now, like, you review code.
Right. And also like good architecture, solid like style guide, and solid documentation. Like if you have a very well architected and like solid workflow and processes for your development team, then your robot developer is going to have a better chance of succeeding. And that is true if you bring in a human junior developer too. Right?
Absolutely. Like, or any person. person.
Yes. So I that makes my heart happy, as a person who manages engineers.
But it also was like, okay, you have a code base. If anyone's ever worked in a product with any sort of patina or years, there are areas of your code base where you're just like, don't go in there. You know what I mean? But if you are just like training on the totality of your code base and you have those dark corners, that ghost code hanging out, it will use that.
It's going to learn from that. Yeah.
So you have to be really careful. I never thought of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that regard, because like a human, you'd just be like, that over there, do not go over there.
Yeah.
Only if you want to see what we're not doing anymore.
Yeah. And the day you get a ticket for that area, I'm so sorry. It's going to take 10 times longer than you think because it's awful, and you're going to get mad. They talked about that, and they talked about stressing out their AI. and I just thought that language was very interesting, you know, like, and I feel like it was talking about something like that, like giving it things to train on that like were not useful or were not helpful for like the goal you're trying to do. And I was like, are we worried about stressing? I'm worried about stressing out me and my team. Stress out the AI all you want. I don't know, probably costs you too many tokens.
Yeah. Totally.
I felt like there was a ton more to dig into there, and lots of really cool opportunities. I think the other thing that I was struck with, of course, we were a development environment, you know, we were with developers. So of course, what we're going to see are like code-based or developer engineering solutions. But the thing that struck me is like, yeah, there's a lot of power available to you here, but you still have to understand this shit.
Totally.
You still have to understand architecture. You still have to understand
those
like,
fundamentals are even more important.
Right.
It's not going to do it for you, like everything for you, and you have to make sure it's good, and you have to start from a solid foundation. Also, live demos. Holy shit.
No. I know. Trevor, hats off to you.
Bold. Bold move.
It was like absolutely fine too. Like it was great. We took questions while one of the things was running. It was cool because you also got to see that sort of orchestration of tasks, right? Like he had a bunch of different separate kind of projects going.
Yeah.
And they were running, and he would get one
like
going.
Separate use cases, right?
Yeah.
Which was really cool to see.
It was cool to see, especially if you're a person who doesn't work in code like that, to see like, oh, I can now I can see the power. I can also see the challenges.
But also, it seemed kind of easy.
What do you mean? Come closer. What do you mean?
It just seemed like it was like, oh yeah, these things are available to you. There's tools available, and you could do this today.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else struck me? When
the Figma one, where it was like gave the Figma file and then turned it into coded components. Like,
yeah, talk about that. What did you think about that one?
No, it's really cool. It's the future.
Yeah, eventually.
My ear thing keeps popping out of my ear. I have weird ears, I guess.
Your ears are perfectly fine. One thing that like, this is not groundbreaking, but watching a developer use natural language to have it do something was like, I know this, like my team's using cursor, like there's some, you know, like I've seen it, but there was something about in that moment watching him because use DevSwarm and sort of orchestrate a bunch of things and then just like pop in and be like, can you please use Playwright to connect to this or whatever? And I was like, yeah. Oh,
it's really cool. I mean, developers, we do this all the time, right? Like we run into a roadblock and then we go to the internet and we're like, I have this problem. And then you look through Stack Overflow to try and find the most upvoted one that seems like not hacky. And then you try it, you know? So we've been doing this for a long time, but there's just a lot of power in being like, hey, here's the thing, go do it, you know?
Yeah. It was very cool. All of it brand new, right? Like in the last year at the most, some of this just in the last couple months, which
it seems sticky cool. Though. This seems like it's going to be the path forward, at least.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so. Too. Very, very cool. I had a thought in it.
The agent, back to the beginning, full circle.
Yes. Agents.
Still a lot of, it's the year of the agent, and I think everybody is calling everything an agent still.
I have so many thoughts on this. It came up a little last night, and I was like, I don't want everyone to go down this rabbit hole because I feel like we could do a whole session on this, but you and I have talked about this a bunch. I feel like we have extended the word agent because the whole fully autonomous like agent is not quite there yet. So now we're just like, things are agentic if they are AI. They had a tighter definition.
Yeah, as these things either prove out or don't, maybe our vernacular will get better and more deliberate, hopefully.
Yeah. Or I mean, words matter, but also it's okay if they change.
Yeah.
I just when it's being used just to like pull one over on people or just as like a marketing term to confuse people, exactly. That's when I'm like,
agents.
Come
on.
You
get an agent.
I mean, it is now November of 2025, and we made predictions like about this time last year for that ProFocus article. I think that's what it was for. I stand by it. It was the year of like, how do we get productive with AI? And like, we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
There's
good days and bad days.
Oh, aren't there? I feel like you and I have spent a lot of time in the trough of disillusionment. Do you feel like you're still in the trough of disillusionment? Some days,
that is
man.
a big
Some
question.
Days. Yeah.
I mean, it's undoubtedly here, and we're all using it. It's undoubtedly, you know? It's probably weirder to me when I run into people who aren't using it for this or that, you know? This or that. I think where I get disillusioned is beyond this or that, where I'm like, oh, is this going to, like the Figma thing, is this going to be
Is it finally going to actually help me? I click the button and the thing happens. I want to shout out another sponsor we had last night, Stacklok. So Scott from Stacklok came down. He brought a bunch of t-shirts. So if you came last night, you might have gotten a very cool like Space Needle MCP.
I didn't get a t-shirt.
I didn't get one either.
I want to sign for myself.
You and I was like,
limited
we should
edition.
Wear them.
I know. And then we didn't.
We didn't get one. That's
Things
okay,
were
Scott.
hard. Things are hard.
It was a long day yesterday. But I did want to shout out. They have a open source tool right now that will like significantly reduce token usage for MCP, like MCP interfaces. I don't have the details, but we'll link it. I thought it sounded really cool. Token usage is a real problem.
No,
like hitting limits.
You don't know. That's
you don't
the thing.
know.
It's really hard to know, like, how many tokens does this use versus that? The pricing is really weird. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. It's a black box.
Yeah, and so I think they were saying somewhere upwards of 80% reduction in tokens for when this thing is used. I've not used it, but I just want to shout it out. It sounded cool. If you're a person who works in
Stacklok.
Yeah, Stacklok. If you're a person who works with MCP, it's definitely worth checking out. What a night. It was great.
We're back.
We were never gone. I mean, we're back here in this podcast. Is there anything else we wanted to say in this, our November episode? Season 1 just keeps going.
We'll get there.
Fine.
You can't give yourself, like, deadlines and pressure.
We do what we want to do.
It's true.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of Supercharged by AI. Subscribe to get all the latest episodes and check us out at aipdx.info for more information.